anomaly beside the sun, a really cool one, a special chemtrail, and then we're going to plunge onto the moon. Mysterious circles beside the sun. We all know that it is so hard to know what is out there. Science itself is just analyzing now temperatures, distances. You know, we're all in the beginning of time. Like, this is just a circle or an anomaly that was beside the sun. A lot of captures, so I show them when I can, and some of them are strange, some of them could be nothing. Sundog right here, but look at these three chemtrails that separate, and you'll see pretty trippy, not very trippy, I hate chemtrails, right? We don't know much about them. We know it's geoengineering. We know that they've been doing it. There it is, starting up. All three of them go all the way across Montreal. We know that it was all started back in New York in the 40s, 47, all for dry spells and to try to manipulate the weather, and with success. So let's get on to the moon, because there's some important information I want to show you all. My friends, the UFOs are making smoke on the moon. If you want to call those UFOs, well, okay, there may be UFOs. I have no idea what this is, but I know for a fact, and we are going to see in this video many signs of real ignition fires on the surface in the atmosphere of the moon. I'm going to show them in great detail, forward and backwards. And this is a UFO, a light that is emanating a smoke from it, and that smoke is covering the surface. I showed you an amazing view of that UFO or anomaly creature, I don't know, explosion, volcanic reaction, I have no idea, leaving Copernicus crater's edge. Here it is. Well, can we say further out? We're still very, very close. This is the rim of Copernicus, but check it out. This is serious stuff. We're going to see fires on the surface and everything in this video. I mixed it up for you guys. It's all about the moon, but it's going to be interesting. And there it is. We're in a strong magnification, showing the exact same thing that I showed you guys and gals further out, magnified. Simple. See the light? How the UFOs in general have different traits and characteristics, but in general, it's always that light that we see, you know, that it's just hard to see through it, to see inside of it. We're seeing structuring on the surface. What fascinates me the most are the smokes and hazes. And if you look closely, even if we don't know what we're looking at, we see very clearly little glimpses of areas where we see objects side by side. Now, these objects are connected. Some of them look pretty bloody symmetrical, and obviously way too symmetrical to be naturally formed. And it just so happens that these areas have hazes over them. Look at the green patches. Those are blurry spots that are in the clear image that you see. Deliberate blur on the surface has to be moving smokes and hazes. It makes sense. Objects like lights inside of the craters, and notice the straight edges on the craters. I'm going fast through some of these findings, but in reality, you know, it's pretty exceptional to see all of these findings. We'll go back over them, you know, I often do. So now, what would you think? We're going to only talk theory now, but TR3B's. Somebody asked me just last week, have you seen TR3B's on the moon? Well, I'm going to show you something that I'm sure you're all going to agree is very interesting. I'm not going to say that these are TR3B's, but I'm not going to say they're not, because we both know that's the shape and forms they have. Triangles along the Apennine Mountains, seen close to the Terminator line. But you know the squares and shapes that I'm showing you on the surface of the moon in my research, especially this year? You want to see buried square, a dark structure, an object? There are dark shapes on the surface that are symmetrical. It looks like offset objects. Now, the reason they look offset is because we're along the Terminator line. There it is. It's hard to see. I'm still going to take the time to show it to you. Some smart ones will appreciate it. See the square or the triangle right there? That's something that's either buried or it's along the Apennine Mountains. Those of you that want to say, Bruce, it's just a shadow, and that's what we're seeing along the Terminator line, I totally respect that. And again, I'm talking theoretically. I know and have showed black shapes before, And I appreciate all the opinions and everything, and we can fight and have a difference of opinions, but I believe that there are shapes on the surface. I don't believe it. I've showed them. Mare Serenitatis, look at right here. We're going to go really hard without even any filtering. What's that nice anomaly or shape? Let's call it an anomaly. There's a square right beside the crater here, and don't forget the square I showed you in Mare Serenitatis. We'll take our time, and I'm going to go show it to you. You're going to see, there it is, a square just beside the crater. It's right beside Mare Serenitatis and Archimedes. And, don't tell me that you can't see them. Look here, cut out or whatever it may be. Monolithic object in the center like a tower. Every single crater in Mare has several. Here, remember the famous square that I showed you right beside the Apollo 17 landing, beside Mons Argeus. So right in the same frame, guys and gals, we're seeing 3, 4, 5 of these shapes. One of these are my rarest captures, and I hardly ever show them. People talk about weather balloons, people talk about UFOs, about whatever these may be. This is a very odd object that you see there, massive. Looks like a balloon, actually. It's round and it has a square bottom-ish. And that's what we're looking at. And very few frames of that, a light even coming from around it, here in inversion. Let's go over to the infrared. I've had a lot of people telling me again, talking about my captures are just satellites. This is one that speaks for itself. There's nothing I have to say except for the fact that I live in Montreal, Quebec, which is the area in all of Canada where there are the most, signaled UFOs, claims, and in the sky, the activity. This is a directional change, done by a UFO in the sky, seen only in infrared. Don't forget, some of you, when I'm filming with infrared, like Cindy Lou Who does it too with her channel, infrared captures objects that we cannot see with our eyes. Sure, some things will appear in the camera that we can see with our eyes, but when do you see fire flying around in the sky when you go out at night to have a smoke or go for a walk? Never. So the infrared camera is capturing things that we're not going to see with the eye, so keep that in mind. A lot of people don't know exactly what infrared is. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to show you something really exceptional. I'm going to show you a UFO fleet that you've seen before, but we're going to analyze the one that's at the end. But first, why isn't this in the news? We see a stationary flash there, and over to the left, 3 more stationary points, but watch, it will appear under a cloud on the moon. Live, without any filters. Any color you see is entirely from the moon in my color telescope and image. That's all it is. There they are. 3 lights appear under a cloud. So now let's look at this UFO fleet. Pay attention, please, to everything but the left side. The last UFO on the left is going to veer left, and I'm going to get an arrow up to explain it as well as I can, and just listen to what I'm saying, and you're going to see a UFO changing directions like it's on a track or a rail. There it is again. And I'm telling you, it's this one right here. Watch. I'm going to go forward and backwards. Okay, that's the UFO. Okay, and this is the line it's going to take. Need I say more? I'm telling you, watch. I'll go forward and backwards, and at one point, your eye is going to see this UFO or light that looks like it's on a rail, and this one's going to continue on, winding, but going straight while it's winding. Hard to understand. There it is. On the left, you see it veering off, and they're traveling pressed up over top of the surface. So, are they flying on the moon over the surface, or are these buggers actually on the surface on rails, tracks, or something? Sure, it's theoretical, but sorry, you're seeing what I'm seeing right now, and that UFO on the left is doing a major transition to the left. Fire on the moon like you've never seen it before, and when I do the forward and back, it's scary as hell because the proof. And don't forget, my French troll said that was just spots in the screen, which is retard, sorry, but look what I'm showing. It's actually pretty scary because this is an ignition fire that starts, it looks like it's elongated, so like it's at the end of a rocket or something, right? You can't disagree. You see it, and you see at the same time that once that ignites or catches on fire, it tends to drift off towards the surface and then just fizzes out, and just the smokes are left as this light is going out. Proof, live proof. It's absolutely incredible. Here's another object, moving clouds on the moon, for those who have not seen it yet. Another incredible. I have to show you guys the one spraying, if you haven't seen them yet, spraying smoke on the moon, lights. So thanks for watching, everyone. I have a smart community member said they're waiting the Pentagon to speak till the elections are over. Dining on the moon. They're dining. They're dining. And then finding really up there. And then finding no moon. Fire really up there. And finding no moon. Aliens are gone. Aliens are gone. They may be coming soon.
This is Houston. Say again, please.